when you're speaking of that, I like what you said, because you know, a supplier, your supplier or the people that you supply, they are part of your business, like it or not.
They are your business.
Because you know what I normally do when I plant, before I do anything, I like to send pictures to them. You know, I'm preparing this land. This is how we're going. I'm planning to produce this much per week. How much can you take? How much? Like that on its own. No, you wouldn't forget. He will even call you. Hey, you know, 2 months ago you said 2 months ago you said this is. I hope by the next month, don't say it. You know what I mean? And those things are very valuable.
As much as
those external people make them part of your business. Like when you have the market.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another podcast of Plasine. And as usual, Ditaba. I have the usual, the crew, my people. As you know, Kinalitabo Kuno, Basti. We have the cameraman Mela behind the scenes, behind the ones and twos. On this week's podcast, on this particular podcast, we're going to be talking about relationships. More accurately connecting it with marketing. So I think we're going to be talking about marketing and more specifically external relationships when you're running a business. How do you manage external relationships? And marketing plays a big part of it because you'll be talking with customers and suppliers and so forth and so on. So ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to the podcast. Please make sure that you do like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Most importantly, above all else, make sure that you leave a comment down below. Well, after watching the podcast, of course. And leave a comment and let us know what you think and maybe a few tips that you can share to the audience and to the crowd. And with that said, if you want to be on the platform and if you have relevant information to share, send us an email at plasine or thefarm@gmail.com or check us out on Instagram. And or leave us a comment down below and again on the comments on YouTube itself, on the channel itself, and we can get back to you and we can make it happen. But please make sure that you have something relevant to share. And with that said, let's jump into it, ladies and gentlemen. Dora, you lekker?
No, Stella Mitchell.
School, man. You heard the intro, dog. I think. Let's get it. External. Businessman talking about how do we do business, sharp. I think in the previous podcast we talked about how to manage staff and so on and that kind of relationships. Now we're talking about how do we actually run this business thing. Yeah. So okay, let me put a question across now. There's a lot of talks about marketing, access to market. The elephant in the room, access to market. A lot of people, but they make it sound so easy. You would wonder why people are struggling with it. Because people who are doing it very well will just tell you that get a market, access to market, that is your problem, get a market and so on and so forth. But you make it sound so easy. But now we want to go into the detail of Otola market like who is the market, what is the market, and who is the market,
and how do you get the market,
and how do you, and on top of that, I would like you to also give us an insight on once you have the market and those relationships established, how do you maintain those relationships? Because someone can trust you and give you the benefit of the doubt and start doing business with you. 2 months down the line, you are not the same person anymore. But you will break it down a little bit more, and I'll also jump in from my perspective.
From your perspective, for me, the thing, especially when you are starting, the problem is finding the market, and people will always tell you how to go find the market. But from my experience, the difficult thing is finding a market, because every time you try to find a market, but it's a sample. Let's start speaking on a sample, and then what am I sampling? Is plant because of I'm still trying to find the market. That is number one.
Oh,
that is the
Black
problem.
Sam.
Like.
So you actually
you
have
go.
to gamble to plant, because you can't not plant or not produce and go look for the market.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's also complicated because you want to have a market.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like I always hear people, you should and let's be frank. Your big markets like your Joburg market, your Tswana market, that thing is not a market.
The fresh produce, that's
a market. You're going to lose.
You have no control over it.
Especially because we have some guy now down there, and it's a white guy. He's producing peppers. He was producing yellow peppers. He was speaking to me the last time. I think it's like a healthy number. Because he was telling me he can give me 100 and something boxes of them. Or he lost close to 90% of his produce there by the market, by the fresh produce market. So, honestly,
meaning that he didn't get what he thought he's going to get.
He
didn't get anything.
Like the amount that was sold, I cover diesel, yet alone the production cost and everything.
Just the diesel to make that happen.
I cover that. So the problem is, you have to gamble by planting first, and then you go find the market. And because everywhere you go, hi guys, I'm thinking of producing what, or I'm producing what, okay, sharp, bring the sample. And then you be like, I'm trying to produce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They will literally tell you straight. Go produce that. Come with the sample. Let me make sure, first things first, the quality matches what I want.
And what you say you can deliver.
There is the problem number one, because you don't have the sample. But if you have the sample, I get it now.
Quality.
The problem is what's now it's not the sample. No, go produce first. Let me see your quality, and then me and you. Maybe I can start listening to you. Maybe I can start listening to you. So one of the biggest problems in the market is now, for fun personally, it's what I experienced, because I tried to find the market before I started. I couldn't. Because everyone let me see your sample. Let me see what you're speaking about. Now you literally cannot produce the sample, which means now you have to plant again for you to produce that sample for the market. Okay, chap. You have your whatever you planted, but during that process of you now you start to have an understanding of what's really needed in the market. Now, as a small scale farmer, or when you're starting up, you need to understand the market. There's a time that the market it's flooded. You cannot find the market by that time when everything is flooded, because
everyone has
what you are doing. What do you want? No, I'm a supplier of cabbage. Cabbage is flooded now. No, man, I'm good with my supply.
And he probably tell you that you are the fourth guy to tell me that you have cabbage.
To tell me that.
I have a lot.
I have a lot of guys.
No. Store.
Yeah, so now, finding a market, you need to understand the off and on season of everything. That is when now the market will start shaping up for you. But actually, what is the market?
In a way that even if you don't have the market, but because of your predictions, now you
have a chance of getting into the market.
Oh, perfect. You said it. Yeah, you said it better than I said.
Because we check. For an example, let me give you examples with broilers, and I normally tell broiler farmers, because I'm a broiler, because I used to do broilers again
on a commercial.
Yeah, on a commercial scale. Then no problem, we produce throughout the year, but we know the way they drop. Winter, that is why we put in more chickens. And the problem with broiler chickens, it's winter, they don't grow. before you find a market, you're supposed to understand the cycles of everything.
When are the shortages?
Me as a small scale farmer, when is the best time for the suppliers to be desperate? It's in winter. Which means I need to have my heaters in order. If I don't have my heaters in order, now, let me just say, now it's March. I need to put my chicks now. Where just everyone is starting to fall out. Now I have the market for it. So
the supplier di tla o entertain or the customer tsa di tla o entertain then
they will fight for you even. You know what I mean? So before you find the market, understand the cycles of what's going on. If maybe you're planting, yeah, because I believe that was the question that I didn't ask. Sorry, Evan. Okay, I'm planting tomatoes or whatever I'm planting. When is the off season for this? When are people desperate? Because trust me, there's always room for that, and that is when small to medium scale farmers patena into the picture, and then you retain that, and that is the most. And I think that is the most difficult thing, to retain that market. But question number one: when you're starting to do anything, when is the off season? When are people low on this? Why?
Why? There's a reason why.
There's a reason why.
And can you solve that problem?
Can you solve that problem? And you need to think. And
be creative.
And be creative. Okay, sharp. There's a problem of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is when, as a small or medium scale guy, that is when you'll penetrate the market. If you don't understand that, you'll never get the market. Even if you get the market, it doesn't make sense for you to supply.
Because the price that they want to take it at doesn't make financial sense
for you all the time.
But it might make sense to a commercial guy. But
the worst part, the time you saw that price item was like 200 and something. But now because of the market is flooded, the very same guy we know 2 months ago are no your product 30 rand. Take it or leave it.
And understanding the market, the on peaks, the peaks and the off peaks.
Yeah, but for me, hence I'm saying, before you find the market, understand the seasons of everything, because everything has a season. You know what I mean? There is the first question you need to ask yourself: when should I go on production? When shouldn't I go into production? Then it will let you know, okay, market takora. Because as I said, the market is not a market, but this fresh produce market, you're not going to make money off of them. But there was a point, me and you, we really made money off them. Because there was something was off season, and then we slant. So before now, honestly, when I'm looking at myself, okay, well, what am I going to do? Before I decide, is that on season or off season? Only risk in that. Why?
That is why most people are not doing it.
Yeah.
Because but have a risky on
you. But you as a small guy or medium guy, you can take that risk because you can change very quick. You know what I mean?
And you are desperate to gain.
So
risky.
As a choice.
Sharp.
As a choice, to take a risk, because if you wait, and agree is a funny thing. A week is a difference. A week. A week fella can harvest on that week.
A decent amount.
And then now I have that capital or I've retained the market. Even if the prices drops, you don't drop because now I'm dealing directly with the consumer or with the supplier. Unlike when the market is flooded, especially because of on top of that. When there was a shortage, no snayo. So you know different than me.
You're not solving anything.
You're not solving anything.
What's one of the supplier of
I know. Oh, 2 months. Flooded.
Again, Doc, that was crucial information that you shared. So let me go now into those personal relationships, because the understanding of we understand that, like we said in the previous podcast, now 80% of your success depends on how you handle people. So people do business with people they like, because this even if during those off peaks and utsuri spinach or cabbage while other people don't have, you're not the only one still. It's just that your chances are more broader, but you're still not the only one.
Yeah, the chances are much broader for you to get it.
Much broader to get in. Still, people do business with people they like. So you get there, you try to produce but just your demeanor, just the way you dress, just the way you talk, just the way you handle things. I don't like you. Me as the consumer of buying whatever you buy. Like, gee, I don't like you. And last week you came probably next week you talk. So I'm not really that desperate and hoping that you are the only guy alive that can do this. I know that someone is going to come knocking. So again, my point is people do business with people they like. And it's important to make sure that once you retain that customer, it goes deeper than, and especially if you want to have a deep relationship, it goes deeper to than just your product.
Yeah.
Your product might be high quality and high everything, but again, you're not the only one. So what else do you have to convince that guy, Hori, I'm your guy. Stick here.
Yeah.
And even if I fall out or I lack nyana, just because you are that deep with that guy, he likes you that much, he will also be able to say that, no man, during the raining season. So I understand, dog. So I'm going to keep the space open for you until Ubashab. If you are a dick and I don't like you and you only brought the product, if you are kawate, that is the first excuse I used to kick you out. Or I didn't like you.
And speaking of that, if you're a dick, when I'm in business, and yeah, you must be willing to take a knock.
Yeah.
Like especially as farmers.
To keep your consumer happy.
And hence I'm saying as farmers we need to create our own market so that we can sell directly to the consumer, not the supply. But cancel that out. We are not there yet. Like be able to bend. Be flexible. And the reason why us as farmers, I believe we have an upper hand than Batova supplier, and they go and sell. I can be able to take a knock. You remember that time we took our produce to a retailer. The produce failed, and by that time they were like, no, we didn't sell. So can you guys give us
another order
for free? I was like, Ivan. So if you go to the market, you sell, the produce doesn't sell. Do you guys go back to the market and say to the agent, I didn't sell that. No, I didn't sell that. We did that. What happened?
They ended up liking and they ended up sticking.
Now they are your people. Like now you can tell them like literally, I don't have anything for now, but I promise you know me. A week I'll be good. Yeah, the rain just did the most. I don't have anything. They're like, no, we'll wait. For you, we will wait.
So in essence, as much as they have to understand our business as farmers, we as farmers need to understand the retailer's business.
Yeah, but normally the retailers, they don't understand our business.
But Sekich, once you establish and they'll never understand it that deep.
Once you understand that once you establish that kind of relationship, you will listen.
Because now Lorona, like now, Serana Batlale Bauri, Rait in Fetu, that particular retailer, Kadi weekend sales dia boom. So we can anticipate or I can phone or Leona can send a WhatsApp. That is how deep it can be.
Another example is like that retailer that we just found out, the big one. We were like, it was like, okay, sharp. I know the produce is in demand now. Okay, it's fine. What are you guys offering me so that I can take you? I was like, I dropped my prices at 2 rand. If you increase sales, he was like, I like that. Klar, bring me tomorrow. You know what I mean?
That bending.
Yeah, like that bending. You should be so flexible because we have an advantage. This is our own produce. Like if you have a produce and you anticipated maybe 10 rand, it's not always to talk about 10 rand. I'm sorry. Build a relationship,
and like, especially when a house you still beggars are not choosers, and to a certain extent you need to be able to.
Yeah, so one of the things that it's be able to bend, be able to take low prices a bit, but don't be a fool, man.
Don't shoot yourself in the leg.
But
I'm doing this for this,
and not be clear about it. Be clear about it. Because no, I'm taking a fall now. But as soon as I prove myself to you that I'm capable of doing that, now we take it up there, and it's final. And trust me, as long as your product is good, you're on time, that guy can call you anytime and say, can you give me something?
You are reliable.
The market is yours. As soon as you learn this small things come out of market, you're out.
And again, dog, because we have done this, And this information is something that took us 2 years to grasp, but we can break it down within less than 30 minutes. So again, this is valuable stuff. Because even from a supplier, myself, keeping suppliers, let's say the suppliers that give us vaccine, suppliers that give us feed, okay, feed is, everything is internal. But suppliers that give us vaccine, suppliers that give us all the supporting stuff that we need. Let's say supplier ya di paraffin, supplier ya maintenance tools or things that we need for a certain piece of equipment that we can't find. Keeping those suppliers happy is of key importance to keep the business running, because you're going to get to a point in time where, let's say to give some context, there comes a point in time where a particular vaccine is not in the country, or there's a low shortage of that vaccine, and there's a lot of commercial farms and farmers in J that want that 100,000 that this particular vaccine company has. So that vaccine company is sitting with 20 customers that they supply, and they have to choose now, okay, this 100,000 doses of vaccine, who are we giving it to? And that is when, if you have a good working relationship with those guys, they will consider you, or no, we can afford to lose this guy, we can afford to lose that guy, I don't like that guy, so I'm going to give to this guys, because let's say maybe for an example, I've been doing business with this guy for so long time, or I genuinely like this guy, he's a new manager, he's just started, and he's a good guy, I don't want to see him fail.
A clear example just happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We didn't find any seedlings.
Yeah.
You call anywhere, they tell you 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Because they have the
Call my guy, hey, say no, I'll just give you.
Yeah.
Give me a week, I'll give you those seedlings. I have, but I'm on full capacity, but I know. You, I will give you.
Yeah.
And there is those kind of relationships, but how do you build that relationship? You know, me and the guy met. We sat down and chat. Like, dog, I like you. What are you doing?
On a personal level.
Blah, 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 blah. And those kind of relationships. Yeah. But it still goes there.
I think to put it in a phrase, a lot of people think that businesses do business with businesses.
Nah.
A business is just a formal thing. People do business with people. Money exchange hands. Nike it's a business in Tab. I understand that Tabo's business is Pick and Pay. But Nike delete Pick and Pay. Nike delete
I like this guy.
What you see. And so I think that is also just to sum up in a phrase. Business doesn't do business with business. People do business with people. And in the guise or the disguise of companies, because everything needs to be formal and everything needs to be. But in essence, it's me with that guy. Mfetu, I know Mfetu, I can call him Mfetu. And like you said, that is the best approach. To forget about business and actually talk to the person. Hey man, Adinsang, how are you? And are you well? We are testing one of the big vaccine companies in South Africa. In Africa. We are the only farm that has the latest vaccination machine on Frostan. Why is that the case? We are the best in vaccination. Every time they do an audit, we are the most professional of all the farms. Our staff is the most skilled staff of all the farms. So on Frostan, they actually know how to use the machine and use them proper and follow all the steps that needs to be followed, SOP, handling and whatever. So they trust us to say, okay guys, we're giving you this new machine, the only one in Africa, test it out, because your reference that we're going to get from you guys is the reference that we're going to use as a company to have confidence that we can actually go to anyone else and give them this machine, because if it works for you guys and you guys like it, everyone will like it by default on Frostan. And it goes down to that professionalism as well, treating people as people and not just business, and actually giving a damn about
and when you're speaking of that, I like what you said, because you know, a supplier, your supplier or the people that you supply, they are part of your business. like it or not.
They are your business.
Because you know what I normally do when I plant, before I do anything, I like to send pictures to them. You know, I'm preparing this land. This is how you're going. I'm planning to produce this much per week. How much can you take? How much? Like that on its own. No, you wouldn't forget. He will even call you. Hey, you know, 2 months ago you said. 2 months ago you said this. I hope by the next month you don't say it. You know what I mean? And those things are very valuable. Like,
as much as we're not making the planning.
Those external people make them part of your business. Like when you're about when you have the market. When you have this guy
how
that
to
you
keep
supply,
them.
how to keep them. Just a simple text. Hey, how are you doing? Hope you're well. I'm planning to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you interested? I know I saw something at your shop or whatever. And then those things, like. Yeah,
they set you apart from everyone.
They set you because that guy feels like he knows you and part of your business. You know what I mean? He knows you and he knows you and he knows part of your business. And for now, one of those key things, there is one thing that you man.
You definitely need to consider. And dope stuff, dog. Because a lot of people, you would assume that the relationships, you would assume that it's just about the product. And to a large extent 60 to 70% is about the product, because if product like you mentioned but la product is selling, now it's about that other 30%, those relationships and keeping these guys happy and making sure that everyone is happy. I just want to add relationships, and I think marketing for now we've chopped it. I just wanted to bring it back to actual corporate. I think on the other podcast that we did in internal relationships, we didn't touch on it on Frostan. Is how the dynamic of employing someone in your business that you have a direct relationship with. Let's say you employ your cousin on Frostan in your business. There's a lot of consequences in employing such a person that has direct relationship. I remember when I was looking a couple of years back, Anarieta Will, work integrated learning. I went with my uncle to where he sells his wieners on Frostan. He has an amazing relationship with those guys. He's one of the only small scale farmers, medium scale farmer at that time, that supplied those guys, because they only deal with commercial. They literally only deal because they are the best in Africa when it comes to that particular breed. So he's talking to one of the directors of the company. We talked to the receptionist, and we just so happened to bump into him, and like, hey man, I'm internship, third year, Pampuni, and so. Can he come to your place and work here? That guy asked me a few questions and whatever not, but the deal breaker was nkasinkim fanao Charlie on Frostan ankam fanao, and if your lighty doesn't perform here on my farm, I'm not going to treat him special. I'm going to give him hell, and I'm just afraid if I give him hell, it's going to affect our working relationship. And besides the working relationship, my relationship with you, because I'm giving your lighty hell and one Frostan. So that also plays an important role. But going back to Yaspan, employing someone, but that is a very relevant example. But employing someone, let's say you employ your cousin on Frostan. Employing your cousin, you still need certain amount of production, the same way you need certain amount of input from anyone on Frostan. So you're not going to treat him special, but he's going to assume that manager.
I know him.
I know him. He's my family. So even if I make this mistake, he's not really going to punish me, or he's not going to. And you, in your mind, you're running a business, like, you need to be prepared for such on Frostan. You need to anticipate such. Or even before you employ a family member or a close friend, you need to understand this person's work ethic. Will he really fit into the corporate culture that you established? If not, don't do it. Because otherwise you'll have to discipline this guy. Because if you don't discipline this guy, the rest of the staff is checky, or there's nepotism going on, or your favorite what. So anticipate that. If you're going to employ family or whatever not. And then the other thing when it also comes to relationship, and I'm also just saying this in passing, but very crucial, is actually dating someone. Let's say for myself as a manager, I'm not the owner, but even if you are the owner, dating an employee, like that changes things real quick. Because the same expectations applies, because media how all of a sudden asa push us pani because ke jona le go like
now
no I'm sick babe, like yesterday we went out for dinner and we had a few drinks. I have babalas, baby, I'm not coming to work. Like those are things that drastically start changing when you start doing things like that. So it's just also important to have a clear understanding. Once you start dating someone, auspanelang, things change, dynamics change. So make sure that the person has a clear understanding. Once you employ a family member, be very aware or intro, and
Very fast.
very quick, and you will ask yourself, Reban, I'm fit. But they don't really necessarily understand. But I think it all boils down to statement this is in the beginning, or 80% of the success of your business or your success as an individual, your business, you as an individual, depend on how you handle people, how you deal with people. And that is business.
That is business. Yeah, it's funny how you that is business until you actually do it. Or sharp, my business depend more on everyone. Like it's only a small portion, man, and everything depends on do I know Davs? Do I know
who do you know?
Do I know who? Do I know? You might have the best product, but who do you know?
Who do you know? Your network, Bob. Your network. Can you pick up the phone and make things happen? And call and make things happen. So we can wrap this one up, Gigi.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you very much for watching up until this point of the podcast. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do make sure that you like and subscribe. Well, that is if you find the knowledge or the wisdom or the nuggets that we're giving useful in any form, shape, size, whatever. If you find it useful, please make sure that you like and you share, and you especially share with people that you think will find this also relevant. And leave a comment in the comments down below, because we want to hear what you say and your perspective and your understanding of what we just shared, and let's have a holistic conversation. With that said, agriculture is about pap and fleis, but agriculture is not pap and fleis. With that said, peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.